Eric, that's your first experience of a domestic cup game at Old Trafford. It was a thrilling game, particularly the second half.
Yeah, a real cup game, eh? And I enjoyed it. My players enjoyed it. I'm happy with the performance of the team, and of course we are happy. We are in the next round.
What was your message at half-time? Because the guys came out quite early after that first 45 minutes.
I didn't have so many messages to them because I thought they played well. They pressed good and slide balls, and yeah, that gave us, I think, in the end, the win.
What does it say about the spirit, if you like, that you can go behind twice and still, in the end, win comfortably?
I think we made good steps in the last months mentality, and this is another evidence of it. But we are not there where we want to be because Sunday was really poor, and it can't happen. And we have to blame ourselves for the performance. But what you see after such a defeat as Sunday, we fight back to today. Even when we are twice, we are down. And I think that's good. That's a real compliment for tonight. But I said it's part one from the revenge. Sunday has to come part two from the revenge.
I think it's 65 minutes maybe for Anthony Martial. Was it good to have him back? And obviously he got a goal as well.
Definitely. And we have some offensive problems in availability, and we need more players who are capable, so that also we can rotate. That we not always have to do and to play the same players. We have to refresh that now and then. And you see tonight, when we bring in Garnacho, when we can bring in Elanga, new energy is coming up. And we need that. If you want to be successful, you are, especially in the front line, you need rotation.
What about young Garnacho then? 2 assists, 2 important assists to make it 3-2 and 4-2. What about his development overall?
Yeah, he's in a good development. Quite sure. Still has a lot to learn. Like he has to pass the ball back where he gets injured. Almost a counter against, but he has capabilities. What fans like, but also, and that's more important, what contributes to compact opponents. He can outplay defending lines with a lot of skills, and that is what I like.
One game left, that's it now for 6 weeks. So is it big effort for Sunday to finish on a high before the break?
It's every game to win is really important, but clear. This was part one from the revenge. Sunday, part two has to come.
Thank you very much. All the best.
You're welcome.
Marcus, I'm going to forget all about the first half, but the second half was fantastic cup football. What was it like for you out there?
Yeah, it's definitely entertaining second half. Lots of chances. I think we defended a little bit better in the second half. And we was better in possession as well, so therefore we created more chances. But yeah, definitely, it's always good to score goals at Old Trafford, and 4 goals tonight too from losing positions. We can't complain.
What was the message from the boss at half-time? Because you came out early in the Villa, you seemed full of determination.
Yeah, I think the reason we came out early was just his team talk was finished and everyone was ready to go back out for second half. So we went out, and it's good to keep that energy from what he's telling us at half-time and take it into the game. Sometimes when you're sitting in the changing room for 5 minutes more, it can sort of die out a little bit. So yeah, we all went out, and whatever he said worked for us in the second half. And
the goals were shared tonight. It was good to have Anthony Martial back.
Yeah, of course. For me, he's a top number 9, and I think when he's on the pitch, he's always going to score goals. It's just up to us to create the chances in good positions for him. But yeah, I'm happy that he's fit. I think he done 65 minutes or so today, so good stepping stone. And it's about Sunday now for us. We have to recover.
You had an opportunity. It just went wide, and a few seconds later, you made absolutely no mistake.
Yeah, I think the first one hit the post, but it's because I was running that way. The angle's always getting tighter and tighter, so I just thought if I just try and hit it quickly, with not much backlift to the front post, then maybe it's got a chance of sneaking. And but I'm happy that the second chance came and I managed to put it away.
A couple of late assists from young Garnacho as well, who seems to be making his mark in this
definitely.
world.
Just full of energy, full of confidence, and it's refreshing for you to have someone like that on the bench and someone that can come on and make a big impact like that. But for me, it's just a start for him. I think there's a lot more to come from him, a lot more goals to come from him. So yeah, it's good stepping stones for him.
finally, obviously, congratulations on being named in the squad today, but there's still one more game to go. How big is that one on Sunday?
Yeah, it's massive. You know, every game in the league's massive for us. But you know, this one's going to be the last one for a while. So, you know, it's important for us to leave on a positive note, on a good note. And you know, we want to keep trying to climb up the table as quickly as we can.
Well done today. Thank you.
T22. We've just seen Manchester United progress to the 4th round of the Carabao Cup. Goalless at half-time. I guess no one expected we'd get a 6-goal thriller by the end of it.
No, not at all. First half really wasn't good enough, but then second half it changed an awful lot. Got to say as well, Villa took the lead twice, so you then looked at Manchester United, you thought, well, they're going to struggle to win this game, but it turned around for them. Got to say, the Garnacho, we like that when you bring a young player on the left-hand side. You know, you want the enthusiasm, you want the rawness of a young player running at players. And I'll tell you what, he did really well for himself, and United got into gear and got the job done.
Yeah, got the job done. I mean, it got into gear. Both teams got into gear very early on in that second half. I mean, it just blitzed to life, didn't it?
Yes, you need that sometimes just to light up the game. It was a great one for Watkins. I thought it was a handball, you know, from Kamara, even though, of course, you know, he didn't do it on purpose, but the run, it's great. The first control, of course, you know, get it in the mood, get it in the run, and the finishing, you know, left-footed is exquisite as well, you know, just above the goalkeeper. But look at Maguire. He should have analysed maybe a little bit better situation. The dangerous man is on the outside, but that's the handball.
Handball for you?
That's a handball for me. Yeah.
No VAR. Of course, in the Carabao Cup.
The only thing with that, right, is so Martial and Fred comes near him, yeah, and they get caught up, and all of a sudden it goes off his foot and handball. You know, Fred's going to the World Cup, international player. He stands and argues. You react straight away. Look, react. Doesn't straight away once you don't react. The way they move it quickly, wonderful first touch, and it's in the back of the net. He made the mistake, and then all of a sudden he's looking at the referee to try and get out. You get a lot of these players that get caught out, they either throw themselves to the floor or they appeal to the referee. You don't do that. If you made a mistake, you get on with the game until the whistle goes. He made the mistake, he's come near Martial, he's come too close to him, they've got caught up, and it's come off him, so he gets rewarded by getting a foul for it. I don't think so, mate.
To answer the
really
question, was that a handball though?
it was handball.
It was
No. Well, it touched his hand, so we've got to say handball now.
Yeah.
Well,
it's touched. This is the way
not
we're doing it.
necessarily.
Yeah, but this is the way we're doing it. It's touched his hand. Well, all right, handball. Every time
No,
a ball
but
hits a
in
hand.
that way, Nick, you know, you cannot control
he-
in the middle of the park, even if you didn't do it on purpose.
He's
that's
made
a
the
handball.
mistake
By
coming too close to Martial.
Yeah.
Fred. He's made the mistake. Right, by coming where they watch him. If you can go back a little bit more.
No, but we're talking about the handball, you know.
No, we're talking about the handball
I
here.
know that, but that's Fred making a mistake. So all of a sudden the ball's come off his leg and he's hit the hand. So he's hoping straight away to try and get away with it from making a mistake because the ball touches his hand from his mistake.
Yes.
So he's gone, come on, referee. He's made the mistake. So you don't get rewarded for making a mistake.
So, handball.
I wouldn't have given it, no.
No.
No, I wouldn't have given it. No.
Oh, you wouldn't have given it?
No,
Oh, okay.
only because he's made a mistake. Yeah, look at it. Look at when he gets close to Martial. Keep your eye on that situation, right? And then all of a sudden the mistake after that.
Well, Man United weren't behind for long.
I mean, this was awful defending, by the way, from Villa, wasn't it? It was
Well,
just a
yeah.
straightforward pass. And they were back into the game. There's nothing to it, just a ball down the line.
But it's just, you know, in that case, you know, when you have a high line like that, there's no pressure on the ball. You have to have that 2 yards and you drop, you know. And it was a little bit naive, but the run as well is not the quickest. But the timing of the Roberto Fernandes was tremendous, and it gets stuck a little bit, you know, the final pass in his foot. But he managed just to get a clear ball for Martial, so it was a great ball through, yeah.
And Bruno Fernandes, you could argue, was actually quite lucky because the ball actually came off his ankle. Villa back in front. I mean, when you saw this one, again, defensively, it wasn't easy on the eye, really, was it? Particularly for Diogo Dalot, who was going to be here for the World Cup for Portugal. Was there any need for him?
But first of all, excuse me, Aaron, you cannot, drive the ball 50 yards, look,
Yes.
and arrive not even on the last third, into the box. Look, And of course, you're going to have a great ball and you're going to be in danger. So they should have stopped that way earlier. I think McTominay or whatever, should have covered much earlier. The pressing should have been more aggressive. So, of course, the professional footballer. You will have that kind of ball, yeah?
So are you expecting a shout from your goalkeeper there then?
From the goalkeeper?
If you are Darlow in that position there, are you expecting a shout from your goalkeeper when that ball has been whipped in and headed across goal?
What do you mean? You think the goalkeeper should have intervened?
Maybe.
No. It's way into the. We need to see that back, but
here it is.
I don't think he could. Darlow was a little bit sloppy. He's got time. He can see the ball coming. He's a bit slow. Look,
he's flat-footed.
Yeah.
You've got to anticipate. You've got to be thinking, well, hang on. This is Didier's totally right here. How's he got the space what he's got? And he puts a delightful ball in what asks a question. But that's when you come alive, and he's flat-footed and he can't move his body. He should have cleared that, just kicked it away anywhere. But he's not expecting it.
You say flat-footed. I mean, is it really a case of actually not concentrating enough?
Exactly, not concentrated.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
It was that kind of game.
Yeah. That kind of game, maybe because he's a young player, Darlow. He will go to the World Cup with a.
Yes, with
Portugal. But you sense the danger. You know he's already in the box. He's going to whip it in the second. The only way he just want to get the ball back. Past De Gea. You have to be ready, and he's a technical player as well for right back. So if you focus just a little bit, he could have cleared it really easily. Yeah.
2-2 then. Rashford getting amongst the goals. I mean, he was close earlier on where he hit the post. But any sympathy for Mings here? I mean, he slipped at the wrong time.
Yeah, he could have reacted. He could have made it a lot more difficult for him. But having said that, this boy should be full of confidence because he's in the squad coming to the World Cup. And I thought it's great that he stays on his feet and he manages to put it away. But look at Mings there. As soon as the ball drops down, anything around your box, your defenders, you want more of a reaction. But having said that, well done by Rashford, staying on his feet and manages to put it away. But they could have done better, could have defended better. The manager would have learnt a lot from Villa from the game at the weekend. Great result, and all of a sudden he's just started to find out a little bit about his team. Mings came on, didn't do very well. His experience, I don't know if he's a little bit down because he's not made the squad really, but he was down, and a few of the players just seemed to lose it a little bit. He seemed to throw the towel in for me.
Yeah, and then you notice with Mings, and particularly with Callum Chambers, I mean, there was this level of disconnect between the two centre-backs. I mean, defensively, they weren't comfortable tonight, were they? Really at all. I mean, Olsen, what's he doing? First off, that's part one, really. And then, of course, Mings with that wicked deflection.
Yeah, I saw that Olsen had a really clear option on his left, really easy, there's no pressure. Instead of that, just put it in the middle of the park. So the pressing was much better for Man United. Was high up on the pitch, with Fernandes going in the middle and Eriksen as well. Every time that boy is on the pitch, it's like the light is coming for United. Look his run, of Rashford on the third goal. So. That's a clear mistake. It can happen, but once you want to play out from the back, you have to be more aware. Of course, it's not easy for goalkeeper as well. It's once you don't have the first touch, sometimes you can be in trouble, and that's your coach, who asks you to do that. So it's not easy for them,
Good
finisher though, wasn't it, for Man United? Scott McTominay.
Yeah, no, great, fantastic by the way, and what a ball as well from Garnacho. He makes this finish look very easy. Cuts inside, look at this for a ball. Fantastic delivery. He's got to have his eye on the ball. Probably wasn't worried about the keeper coming out, but he manages to guide it past him.
Nick, it's very important. You see the third and the fourth goal? Who's doing the run? It's Eriksen and McTominay. So sometimes you need those midfielder advance or holding sometimes just to break the line.
It's almost
by their runs. Yeah,
it's almost as if Eriksen's introduction basically gave Manchester United a lift, something that you predicted at half time.
Yes, because you need a bit more technicality in the middle of the park for United. So by having Fernandes in the midfield of the park and then Eriksen, then you have a better connection straight away, and you can feed Rashford, you can feed the other. All of a sudden the team is more confident. You can rotate. midfielder who can rotate in the modern game are really, really important now. You know, there's so much organized the team, there's so much prepared physically that's it's like having a numerical superiority all of a sudden, you know, when they get past their opponent. So it's really important. So Eriksen was again important.
In the two games that we've seen Unai Emery and Aston Villa, have we noticed a difference, a change from that of under Steven Gerrard?
We do in the first game, because obviously you would expect that from a manager when he first comes in, because everyone's playing for the futures. Today there was parts of it which he'd take positives out of, and there was parts where he knows he's got a lot of work to do. You know, he finishes the next game off. Who is it? Brighton away. That'll be a good test for him to really see what the character's like, because Brighton are doing very well at the moment. So we'll get to see them, and then he gets a chance to work with his players, the ones which he's got left. So I think from here till the end of the season, whether he can do any business in January, we'll see. But I think he'll get the freedom to see what he can do, and then obviously then building it up for next season. But there is something about Villa, and I saw it in the part of the second half there. A bit of when Steven Gerrard was there, the heads went down. I didn't like to see that. There were certain things I was looking at. I was thinking, is there a problem in the dressing room there? You know, players not wanting the ball. You find when things are going well as a footballer, everyone wants the ball. When things aren't going well in situations, that's when you find the characters. They're the ones that say, well, come on, give it me, I'll have it. Even though we're losing, that's when the manager will work out who's the big characters of the dressing room. But I think there's a bit of a problem there at Villa. I think there's something about the dressing room. It doesn't look like they're fighting for each other.
Well, even now, the fact they've got a new man in charge.
Yeah, well, I've just seen I'm just saying little bits what I've seen in the second half there, where the heads went down. They were leading twice in this game, and they could have gone and won it. But once it got a little bit tough for them, you know, a few of them hid out the way really and didn't really want the ball. So is that going to be a problem in the future? We'll find out. But this is all about him looking at his squad, looking at his players.
Break's come at a good time, isn't it?
Who?
The break has come at a good time.
For some teams, yeah. Even in Europe, Atletico Madrid, Villa, teams who are struggling, of course, that's important just to regenerate the legs, and especially there as well, to have a little bit of preparation. Those kind of clubs don't have many international players, so you could have your players, you know, before returning to competition, maybe 1 month, you know, you can really work on your ideas of playing. You can really work on the physical part, you know, if you see that the team is not well, and you can get accustomed to your players as well. I'm talking about Unai Emery, so it will be really, really positive for them.
26 players here, Nick. We spoke a little bit more in depth, like Marcus Rashford is in the team. Ivan Toney missing out. But you would have said you probably would have taken Premier League football coming up this weekend, but for some of the players now, that's it until the FIFA World Cup. The United States, and then dropped Rashford.
Yeah, I probably would have.
For some of the players now,
but
that's
I understand why
until
they're
the
taking
FIFA World Cup.
He's obviously got a lot of confidence. We've seen with a goal tonight.
And of course we've got Premier League football coming up.
Maguire tonight. I think he really is struggling confidence-wise. So maybe changed my mind with him starting. I said,
I'll make the question to you now. You're playing Iran on day 2 of the World Cup. Stones, who would you partner alongside? Really, 2 choices: Maguire or Eric Dyer.
Well, Dyer's played in the last 2 games. No, not at all. I think he'll start with Maguire. I really do. I think there's players there like your Sterling, obviously your Kane. Maguire, Stones, you'd imagine that they would start off, and I think he will start off. But I just look at him tonight, and I think it's really affected him. Now, whether he feels better when he's playing for England and he has the confidence and he has the belief,
that's a question as well.
It's quite bizarre, really, because you used to go and play with England because they haven't been looking like they're going to be successful, and you go in your shell because the country they expect so much. But because they've done well in the last couple of tournaments, he maybe feels a little bit more comfortable. He feels a little bit more comfortable with the squad of players.
I see. I understand your point there. Obviously, Maguire didn't put a foot wrong in Russia, nor did Jordan Pickford. Both of them have come for criticism lately for their clubs, but Nations League.
I'm not taking that Nations League.
I know, but regardless of that, Nick, it's still an international. It's a competitive international. Maguire has made mistakes.
It's a glorified friendly for me.
But Maguire has made mistakes. That's the problem.
I understand that.
And he's receiving the criticism for that.
At the end of the day, he's getting on the plane and coming to Qatar. So if he's that bad, he's not involved in the squad at all. So someone believes in him, and the manager believes in him. But I'm not having the Nations League. I just think it's a pointless for me. Really don't get it at all. judge Southgate and the players from the last 2 tournaments, which is wonderful and giving us hope and belief. Let's have a look at them here now. Now, what these players should have learnt, if anything, is where did they go wrong in the semi-finals and the final? You know, for example, look at the boy Bellingham. He only made the squad, didn't he, for the Euros? Now all of a sudden he's probably penciled in as one of the first players. So all these players have matured. The manager's matured. The 5 substitutes, is that going to play a big part, which we spoke about before, with the different array of talent what they've got? But the belief is there, and they can do it. They really can. But I do look in the defence there, and I will be looking like I was looking in the second half. Then I was watching Maguire. Is he comfortable on the ball? But I want to see what he's like if he's going to be playing for England. I don't understand if he doesn't start off against Iran, because it's going to get harder as the competition goes on. So if he doesn't start, I don't know where Maguire and a couple of the other players are going to get in. They've got to give him the chance. They've got to play him. Got to get him in there. Once they come through that first game, if they get a good result and you start getting that bit of belief, if they don't play them, I don't know if they'll feature or start any way further down the line.
Well, further down the line, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, of course, because you've got to qualify from the group stage. But I mean, you've got Iran, you've got the United States, you've got Wales. You probably expect England to win the group, some would say.
You would expect that, but if you don't get anything out of the first 2 there and you're going in against Wales, well, that's you're in trouble then, because it's just like a derby, isn't it? It's a full-on intensity, as you would expect. Wales right up for it. You look at this group now and you look at the squad of players what England have got. And I do keep saying about the last couple of competitions, but that gives them the belief, it gives the nation the belief, and you would think that they would get through. And that's not being disrespectful to USA or Iran or Wales, but you'd expect England to get through that. And once they get through that, if they do, you're building your momentum up. You know what it's like back in England. You know, all of a sudden we get a couple of results. It's coming home. Everyone gets behind it. We get a bit. We don't get above ourselves, but we think, is it going to be our time? You know, and they are capable. First things first, get the good performances, get the teams together. I mean, we're looking at the likes of Walker. You know, is Walker, how far is he until he's fit? He's so crucial. If they're playing 3 at the back, they need him because of his pace. You know, if there's any danger, they need him. You know, and then obviously, will Trippier be playing? So there's so much little scenarios which you're looking at. But we'll find out from the first game who they're going to play.
It's funny, you know, when I hear you sometimes. Not you, Nick. Huh? But the way in England, the picture that they have in the national team, it's not the picture that we have for your team. You know, when we look at Walker or Trippier, Pickford in national team, Stone is being Stones. You know, is with his quality, Bellingham emerging, a new fantastic offensive line, and what you've done in the past. You know, we're pretty confident for you guys.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. So it's I mean. Every big team is under the scrutiny all the time of the media, the press. That's pressure. You have to live with that. It's people. They always have a stick with you, but you have to more than that. You know, that's high competition. That's World Cup. You have to have a charisma, even a defiant charisma. Okay, you don't believe in us, but we'll deliver, as we've done in semi-final, as we've done in a final. We've got experience, quality. A great captain. Okay, Maguire and blah blah. Anyway, from the first game, we'll see if it's going to be Dyer or whatever of Maguire. We'll see what Southgate wants to head, and I'm sure England will deliver.
And let's not forget as well, we've not mentioned one person, Harry Kane. You know, he's a favourite to be the top goal scorer. You know, you get him and you give him the service. There is nobody better. And does that not give you confidence? Look at Saka as well. Look at the season he's having at the moment. You know, it's confidence. I hope they go forward, especially in the first game, and they express themselves and they make a statement, because they've got the players to do it. They play the toughest league in the world. Let's get that right. The Premier League is the toughest league in the world. So mentally, they're strong. They've got the players. They've improved an awful lot now technically with the clubs, and doing well in Europe, a lot of these players. So go and have the belief. Go and stamp your authority on that first game and make a statement.
And don't forget, they defend well as a team, England. That's very important. We're talking sometimes about Maguire, but you have a whole unit who sometimes protect the centre half. So this is important. You know, they don't get many chances against them. Okay, forget the Nation League. When they are in the good mood, England, as a unit, they defend really well. They have problem just to to play, because what I've told you about Phillips and Rice, they're not the best just to turn, to advance and control the pace of the game, but in terms of aggressivity, in terms of playing, of running, of covering, of making sacrifice, they're one of the best teams in the world for me. So as a unit, sometimes you can protect your centre half. That's why England's done really well the last years.